Hi, my name is Elena Wright. I just made a video and I'm just making this to address an issue I feel like that I'm coming across more and more, which is regarding types of prejudice that God's people have amongst each other, listening to each other. We're during a time right now where our religion is struggling a little bit. Churches are being closed down. There's problems that we're having. So I believe that God's people really need to be open-hearted and listen to one another and let go of prejudices. I find there are more prejudices popping up that I'm noticing that have to do with age. Older people might not want to listen to younger people. Younger people might disregard older people, thinking that they're too set in their ways and they don't know what they're talking about. There could be racial ones. There could be ones from different territories. I have a feeling there are probably ones that have to do with what type of church or church background you have, how long you've gone to church, if you grew up going to church. Basically, there are these prejudices that are preventing, God can move in someone's life suddenly, at any age. There's no restrictions with God, so you should always be open to listening to someone's message from God, because just because they're young does not mean that they're not moved in the Spirit by God, does not mean that they don't have important messages to you from God. And I have a Bible verse regarding this that I feel it keeps coming to mind, and I feel that it's important. It's chapter 2 in Joel, and it says at verse 28, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions." I feel like this has come to mind a few times for me at this point. This verse keep popping up because I feel like that's what I'm seeing a lot of. If you look on YouTube, there are more and more people who are younger that have been having prophetic dreams, or who have been suddenly moved in the Spirit. Me and my friend both just felt like we were kind of suddenly awoken and suddenly helped by God in a manner that felt very quick, and we became new life and so separated from our old lives so quickly. It feels like this stuff is happening quickly. So we're kind of at a crucial time period where, I do feel like Christianity is starting to be under attack, and it will probably become under attack more. I've heard tearing Jesus statues down. I try to keep myself so much separated from the very terrible news, and focus as much on God as possible myself. But I know it's important to try to stay somewhat informed. I know that California passed something saying that you can't praise and worship in church. I know that there have been cases where rioters are going into the churches. And I know that when COVID hit, they tried to tell people back then, technically, that they could not praise and worship. So I know that our churches are under attack. So, we already have a problem with them trying to take praise and worship away, which is what my video earlier was about. Singing wherever you're at, kind of like what I call battle joy. Being joyful and praising God wherever you're at, because technically God is everywhere. He's not just in the churches. He's not just in churches and temple. He's wherever you're at. So if they're trying to prevent you from singing to him at church, sing to him everywhere else, because he can hear you anywhere, and he will be most glad to hear from you, and he'll probably bless you for being bold. God blesses boldness. So let's also be bold to be kind to one another, which apparently is an act of boldness these days. Being kind and gentle in our treatment of one another. Treating each other with respect. And respect would mean that when you have a younger person who has had God move in their life, whether they're a new Christian or old Christian, you listen. If you have an older person talking to you about a dream that they might have had, even if they're an older Christian and you feel like that, that they can't connect with you, listen. Respect says that you listen to a person. You don't judge and get aggravated before you listen. Listen, and then you can judge. Just try to be kind to one another. Fruits of the Spirit, remember that. 1 Corinthians, love, remember that. Just try to, what would Jesus do?